the waves of these sounds are meant to be more like a place that you are in than something that you're hearing or listening to. And I know that TikTok is not the ideal distribution for that. We could pretend like it is just for a little bit though. It's my phone, yes. So this inner smile, it's just like very gentle smile. If you'd like, you can bring it down to your belly or just to like the idea of belly. And imagine you have like a space in your belly, like your own cauldron, like a witch's cauldron, okay? And it's yours. And nobody can take it away from you, ever. And take a deep breath in, smile to that area, and let it relax. It's time. Okay. That was perfect. Inner cauldron. This zone on the inside, this inner cauldron or dantian, center of self, like however you want it to be, it's a place that is weighted, but not like in that horrible, shame-filled, like I hate my body kind of a way that just existing can be. It's weighted as in like in your favor, alchemically. And it's where on the inside we can start to pretend like we know what it would feel like to be safe and sound and like all the words that we're given, if it's before that's true. Someplace in us has to have a space for that seed, just for the possibility to set, so that all that has to happen is like two little roots just have to start growing. That's it. Okay? The Chinese are lovely. I am not Chinese, clearly. I'm an American Gen Xer. But the Chinese, they're just lovely. They just make it really easy. They give us this place on the inside, dantian. Cauldron, hara. So if you'd like to smile, yes, the Chinese. You know, I say it as that because I'm in so many different geometries and logic systems and medicinal lenses, all Chinese. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you like the sounds. I went with crystal bowls that are lower than a lot of what folks bring me into because I need the longer vibes. Like, I like it long, okay? I spend enough time trying to like exist away from gravity. I am calm now. Not always. But I have to say, just this inner smile that I was inviting us into, can I share with y'all, I despise the use of we when it is royal. So when I say we and us, that's because I'm part of what I'm understanding. In fact, I am no longer able to understand the world outside of how I'm interpreting it, and other people are helping me see it in new ways. And for me, that's good, because I'll just make shit up. So let's get back to the sounds and that smile. So smiling to your belly, to this inner cauldron, is what we call it in the yoga. This zone, okay, that's nice. You must not have any imagination. That's too bad. This zone in your body, okay, nobody can ever take that away from you. That's like you fucking exist. So our little baby Dantian on the inside, okay, when we're having a moment of experiencing threat in any direction, from any way, all that perception is happening in the brain, but all that input might not be. We might be like, do you know how something arises and suddenly you're like aware of it? Even just like a fever sometimes, or a vessel, nice. So for a lot of us, me included, we have a history of grown-ups telling us that our lived experience is BS. Oh, you're not in that much pain. Oh, it's not that bad. And so just taking a little bit of time to let the vibes happen, these harmonics specifically, it's like the in-between sounds. They can be a little bit like a dust buster or like a feather duster for some of the, just like the not super deep stuff, but the gunk that makes it challenging for us to see our own shine, our own brightness. I want to say hi to folks. Guitar Beast is here. Hi, MJ. Amy's here. It's bad. So bad. Earlier today, we were talking about humming and breathing. I don't know if any of you were here for that, because I'm pretty chaotic when I come on live. But with these tones, we might be able to find some hums. And the nice thing about humming, hello Dan, or Dawn, Dan does. Humming is a way to pretend like you're an amazing singer without having to be an amazing singer. Humming is a way, that's cool, I have some sounds now, I have some bowls. So humming is a way to begin vocalizing without having to be a singer, okay? Which I'm not either anymore, but it's very technical to sing. So here's a tone. That's about there, just about there. Maybe that's too high, I don't know. You could also pretend like it's fine. You have seen me before. I've existed in earlier timelines. So to hum, if you want to find this note, I'm not going to be such a jerk. And I'm looking for that buzzing in my mouth, buzzing in the lips. You could also horse your lips. Just pretend. So that's going to build a kind of gas called nitric oxide, not nitrous, nitric oxide, which helps our blood experience oxygen, which is amazing. You don't have to go to a fancy place and spend a bunch of money to go to an oxygen bar. Yes, I have a solfeggio set and a set that's tuned to the Kabbalah. I tune. So you could say I do biofield tuning. All my work is based on resonance over regulation. So the humming, I find that I have to unhum and breathe. Or take breaths in through my nose and then it just like pauses. Like that. Like if you're just starting the humming, taking that like in through the nose, out of the mouth, to sort of just like get the body back into, because we're not usually thinking about what we're doing at all, much less what our body is doing. And breathing, of all the automatic, I call it auto magic, okay? Of all the auto magic things that our body does, the breath is the easiest for us to override on purpose. That's why we're brought there first. We can override any of these other processes with enough practice. Auto magic. So one of the problems with auto magic is sometimes it's auto poo-poo. Auto magic that's where we experience fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and all of the nervous system states that we're told are dysregulated. It's also where we experience the magical regulation. So my perspective is, let's get some resonance in there. And then there's just more places, more ways for our own neurons to be reaching through space, through the dimension of our own matrix of our body, which is our connective tissue. So if you'd like to experiment with smiling with intent and purpose, which you never have to do, of course, but if you'd like to experiment, yes, autonomic, mother, dysautonomia, baby. Life on a roller coaster, right? I find that this can make me feel more like a balloon without a tether if my dysautonomia is experiencing a lot of lift in the day. So just be aware of that if that's happening with you, because like that's totally cool. But then if you try to move and stand up, it can be a little bit weird. Though I will say that in general, having some kind of like a vibratory, like a tactileness to the body with experiences like dysautonomia and dissociation can help remind me that, oh, that's right, I'm here. Because I forget. I do. 55, I still forget I exist. That's what happens when you die, when you're born, I guess. Laying down, yes. Yeah, so you can also be on your side. And just be aware of like the relationship between your head and your heart. Basal ganglia tracks with fight, flight reacting to frequency. I'm going to say probably yes. I'm currently contemplating that kind of track as afferent and efferent. So I'm trying to communicate with the back of you, with your afferent experience. Not your efferent has to do with moving. Afferent has to do with our sensory motor. And basal ganglia are like brain parts, if I'm correct. So another area to smile would be to the whole, like the zone from your collarbone to this soft area in between your ribs, the xiphoid process. Love that word. I shouldn't be forcing you just to look at me. This is my ancestor, Fidelis. He wrote a lot of music. He was a minor celebrity in his time. Nobody in my family wanted it. I was like, so this area here, the softness here, and be gentle with yourself if you bring your hands to it, because I have to tell you, man, I hold a lot of, it gets really like, it's part of the armor of my chest, this zone here. Sometimes I'll just smile to my hand and rub it nice and gentle, like, let me do it this way because my brace. Like I might on the back of a child. Just like playing with is making a sound that I can maybe also notice, maybe not. And you might just be pretending, and that's okay too. Let me give us a sound. This is an A-ish, in case anybody wants to know. So it's mostly here. You're going to feel it in your mask, in your mouth. But you might be able to pretend like it's going down. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not in your body. And then you have to breathe. Then you try it again. If it starts to feel really tight, you're not gonna do it anymore. Oh no. Now, you all need to know that these alter my brain chemistry and I get a little loopy, and it's happening. So. Also notice that I'm not playing a major scale. This is kind of a somber scale. I really enjoy a minor key for the feeling. Not because it makes me feel sad, but I'm just not guided into that kind of sound all the time. And I feel like a lot of us hold a lot of shame and pain in the lower zones. I feel like they're kind of minor in nature sometimes for a lot of us. I don't think that's bad. Oh, I'm so happy you like this, Elizabeth. Hopefully I have found a format that'll work for all of us without me having to do a lot of preparation every day. So if you weren't here for Sense of Bum, the practice that turns you into an amazing galactic yogi is to notice that you have an ass and that it is on a surface. Okay, this is what's missing from your therapy. Like literally, that's all that's missing from most therapy is your body. Sadly, that's the very most important aspect of your therapy. So let's assist the therapy with scaffolding just like we would do for a kid learning. I can also be very angry about it, but right now I feel very gentle. So the tones and the sounds and the harmonics, part of what they genuinely do is it's just like if we were looking at beams of light and like different kinds of things, and it crosses and you see like new patterns and like amazingness in your ear, and all of this, which is tiny in your head but like so complex. This is so complex, our ears. There's fluid in these chambers and there are crystals. And when these are like happy, when they're resonant, literally, when they're resonant, my suspicion is that helps our balance. That it's not just the experience of like all of this that can happen with pots and everything, but it's also how is the fluid, the dynamics between the fluid, which is a wave, if you like the physics, right? And the crystals, which are particles. How are they relating to each other in the wormhole? Because nothing escapes this. I think that is amazing, okay? I think that is so fucking cool. That if we can hear it and perceive it and it reaches us, even if we can't, even if it's so subtle, right? We can still do stuff with it. And I used to resent how not exciting a lot of this is. Amy, I have a whole thing ready to go. I just figured it out based on our conversation. You are a god to me right now, seriously. Yes, You're a visual thinker, and hear how the sounds can stimulate. So there is a, because now I'm in it. I just want you all to know, okay? I grew up in a house with 3 grand pianos, and I started playing classical piano when I was 3. I did not. You went to an art exhibit called Spectrum of Lights. Yes. Oh my goodness me. Yes. I am currently very in favor of contemplating the totality of the inside of me as an inverse prism. I think it's prismatic. I'm not even sure it's like rainbow. I feel like the matrix, we are so matrixed as creatures. It is unfathomable to me some days. There are 3 different kinds of connective tissue that form between our skull and our brain. One of them is called arachnoid. It is literal spider web kind of stuff. What? And then our connective tissue is a matrix, literally. But the way that our body relates to itself is also, it's matrixed. It's not all hierarchical like we're told. It's complex, man. There's a lot going on, and most of it cannot be measured. Or we get the plasma is the 4th state of matter, and that is why there are 27 kinds. And I'm like, maybe plasma is as far as we can perceive. And there are 27 dimensions talking to us because there are 27 kinds of plasma. You feel images, shapes, colors. Yes. Wow. So you have like a tactile experience. I'm not qualified to say synesthesia for you, but that sounds like synesthesia to me. Synesthesia is the most common way it's described is like hearing when you see music. There are easily 85 different kinds of synesthesia. If there are 85 different kinds of synesthesia, that is a naturally occurring thing in our species. And our sensory motor cortex, the way that it's been mapped would be like looking at a map of New York City and knowing what the buildings are and understanding where the routes are, and like it's all been mapped. That is not the same thing as going to New York City and navigating New York City. It doesn't speak to what happens at 3 a.m. compared to 7 a.m. on a Tuesday. It's not, so the concept of being having a functional map, but where there's, in the research that I have access to, the concept of oscillations in our brain has to do with these kinds of waves, but they're long waves, okay? We're not going up to the heavens with the angels. That's a different thing. That's outside. On the inside, it's like very long and low. And the long and low is akin to, because I love showing you with my body, I'm weird, but it's akin to that like arachnoid matter that helps to keep our skull, our brain shaped, or the lattice of our fascia, which gives everything in our body shape and also assists with all the automagic movement that our body does. So if you, like me, have weirdness in your sensory motor experience, I just say use the language that works. So when people say, where do you feel that? I'm like, everywhere, for one thing. Almost always, if I have a sense or a feeling, it's global because I have so much tactile synesthesia. It must be common in autistic brains and brains that don't have the neural pruning, but I'm not sure how much research has been done on that. Well, let's just listen to some songs, long and low. The Schumann resonance is 8 hertz. The vibration of our planet is infinity at 8. Like, contemplate that for a moment, right? I'm so happy you're here. Music is also a pretty direct and immediate way to connect to many of these bizarre multidimensional concepts that we're told are impossible to understand because it takes so much math. First of all, welcome to Girl Physics, Katie Z. I've been doing girl physics since I was 13. And I am not making that up. My mother put that shit in front of me when I was a teenager. Probably because I asked her too many questions. So we're just going to listen. I don't know, I'm not God. Oh, Shipley. We would be so like hanging out every day if we were anywhere near the same age. I know it. I'll ask someone else then. So when I asked my mom about God, I was raised by atheists who were not atheistic in how they raised us. They raised us as agnostics. But so when I started asking about God, I was like, what's God? What's this thing? My mom said, oh, God is this amazing, kind entity who gives people love and takes care of souls after they, just described this so beautifully. And I said, well, why doesn't she come out and say hi? And then my mom was very happy that I assumed it was a girl. But she had also she grew up in horrendous abuse and very, very godly parents. So she did a really good job of not letting that mess up how David and I were introduced to anything as kids. But I love that. I'll ask someone else. Did you ever find God? We made it for you when we made Yahoo and that turned into search. Okay, let's get sincere again. So resonance, whole point of all of this, resonant, not regulated. There's a very particular kind of a hierarchy in an orchestra, which is the primary hierarchy I knew growing up, because my dad was a conductor. And the conductor is in charge of the whole thing, but then you have these whole sections. Okay, you have like strings and woodwinds and percussion and like, oh, it's amazing. And then you have subsections and then subsections, and then there's like chairs. You have a first chair, and I just thought that was so cool. And even the chairs have their own, but it's not a hierarchy like an army. It's more a hierarchy like a library or a taxonomy. And the purpose of having the first chairs and even just the structure, a symphony, like a whole symphony, is massive. And to conduct a whole symphony is and I, as a child, thought my father could also play all of the instruments because my mom could do everything. So obviously my dad could. Very much not. But what happens is the way that everything happens together, it's like it lightens the load. You know, they say many hands make for light work. That can be the experience of creating this amazing art. And some conductors are jerks, and you kind of have to be one to believe that you can make that many artists do what you want when you tell them to. By the time you're good enough to be in a symphony, you have some ideas about what you're doing, right? And so when I was a kid, there were these guys they had this quartet, the Orion Quartet. And they're brothers, Danny and Todd. And so it's a quartet of violin and viola. They played chamber music, beautiful, beautiful. And Danny and Todd switch who is first chair. If you saw that Dancing with the Stars recently when Derek Huff did the tango with the other guy and they were both leading, this is how these guys approached this very, very, I say past tense because they've since split the group, but they would switch who's in first chair. And you can hear the same program, the same music. And based on who's on first, it genuinely changes the whole thing. So fascinating, but also very constrained because it's classical music. Directly or like do anything magical. You could definitely tell yourself they do though. But it is absolutely a misnomer to think that every human has the same scale of tones for like our different body parts, but also our different energy centers. Your chakras are not C major, your chakras are your chakras. Some of us are cacti, some of us are jungle plants. We're going to have different scales, different sounds. So if the chakras aren't chakraing, maybe you just have a different starting point. So this is my root right here. somebody had mentioned these earlier. I don't know if you can hear them without a microphone. The tuning forks, which I mostly know from just like using them as a musician, but they're used, you can use them on the different meridians on the body, and they're also just great for bringing vibration to the tissue. So I started using them after my mastectomy. Usually, I have a couple that have little ball on the bottom also, because it just makes it a little bit softer. But I would put it, so I have all kinds of tissue missing, and what are those, lymph nodes. I'm not very left-handed today. Hold on. There we go. So it just brings a little bit of, it's that long, low vibration. When people keep saying raise the vibration and they don't tell me how far or for how long, I feel like they just want me to become a hot air balloon without a tether. You know, I mean, like, I don't live on the ground, okay? I have a Sonic the Hedgehog, but I need to know where the ground is personally, and I need to be close enough to the ground that if I do fall, I'm speaking metaphorically, right? But if I need to land and I'm so way up here, that's a very far way to go. Whereas if I'm here and occasionally I do that, then I feel like I can manage all of it better for myself. And I will say most of the people I know who are raising the vibration are on a certain kind of a line. Yeah. Some of that is marketing, and people just get like sucked into the marketing. But that also tells me they're not contemplating. Sense of bum is the one where you remember that you exist and that you find your seat on whatever you're on. And that's how we get connected to gravity. That's the first step, or the first practice in the galactic world of KDZ. It's called neuroaffective somatics. And so when I find my sense of bum, and you find your sense of bum, it's like the inverse of namaste, but truly what it does is it takes, especially whoever has the greater privileged position, regardless of the individual dynamic, sense of bum, it gets me away from this posture towards you and into this kind of a posture. And so for the wounds and the scaredness and the this part, if as a facilitator or guide or whatever, your therapist especially, like if we're back here in our bodies, not in the room even, you're making space. You don't have to hold it, you're just making space. Wu Wei literally means get out of the way. That's the core belief, or the core guidance in Taoism is Wu Wei. Get out of the way. Back up. Let them be. You know, and it's not like from a helicopter perspective. It's very much resonance and lymph. Yes, absolutely. Resonance and lymph, very much. And synovial fluid, and spinal fluid, and snot, and other kinds of fluid. Yeah. I put up a video a couple days ago. I'll have to like write a little article on Substack with some of the frequencies for our major organs and our organ pairings in Chinese medicine. But in general, MJ, my experience has been that the lower, longer waves, long waves, seem to work better for lymph when I'm going to be still. That kind of makes sense because like infrared light is also really good for lymph, but we can't see it. We can only feel it. And when I say infrared light is good for lymph, I'm not telling you to do it. I'm telling you to like maybe talk to somebody because I'm not a doctor. Though I do have an infrared lamp in my home. So it's like, wow, my jaw just, did y'all see that? My jaw literally just, oh, that's awesome. Oh, I love that. Give me a moment to love my jaw. Let's just listen. In the have I eaten? Oh, how are you? Both I have eaten and I am okay. Yeah. I will be honest with y'all. We're coming up into like, it's going to be a tough week for me. I have been ejected from my twinship by my brother, who cannot be with me, disabled and vulnerable. It's unfortunate. Oh, you're so welcome. I had cancer. I had a stroke in 2019, Majestic Rose, and then I had cancer, stage 3 breast cancer at the height of the pandemic. It puts me at risk for houselessness, that's all. So we're all gonna start paying Katie. It took me a couple years to recover from my cancer. I haven't had any help. I have never witnessed the level of discard. Like I have heard about this happening when people get sick. I was very surprised to experience it in my own family. I didn't have my stroke the right way, of course. Thank you. I wasn't aware I could choose how to have my stroke. My choice would have been no. Yes, yeah. Cancer is... Uh-oh, here comes Norman. Let's do the healing smile so we can change that feeling a little bit. Hi, Norman. So the healing smile is when you bring your tongue like this. Yeah. Oh, thank you. No, I'm not alone in the discard. So inner smile. And I'm not saying that so that we ignore things. Hi, sweetheart. Did you want some? Come on. Come here. Come. Here you go, Betty. Norman, look. Come. Come on. Come. Come here. This is Norman. Hi, do
you want to go sit underneath the table and listen? Oh, uh-oh, 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 he toppled over and the gravity happened. Oh no.
He loves the tuning forks. But he's like, oh, I still have issues with my stroke. Yeah. He is a very big kitty. The healing smile. So the healing smile and the healing sounds are the foundational somatic practices of my work, and you can get them for free in the downloads. There's also a $20 media thing you can buy. But to do it, because that's what's more useful, is to bring the tip of your tongue just to the ridge behind your upper teeth. You might let your tongue kind of be on your, look at this. And then you smile. He loves this stuff. Darla, not so much. And so the healing smile is something for ourselves, or I should say our bodies, literally. So on the inside, you might even close your eyes, but on the inside, you imagine the smile going to you. This is gonna, hold on one sec. So you can see him. And there are three main zones you can contemplate first. One's your belly, one's your heart, and one's your head. And so to smile to your belly is literally to pretend like you know exactly what a dantian is, which of course you don't. But you just like smile to your viscera, to your gut. And the smile is not looking to accept and love my body fully and wholly and completely. The smile is, oh, I acknowledge body exists as neutrally as I'm able to today. And so sometimes I'll use my belly. Like today I'm not feeling great in my body. You can see I'm kind of like hiding it and stuff. So like this is my smile today. Belly, heart is the whole zone from collarbone to belly button, but also actual heart. And the heart zone is where the inner child resides. Smiling is an action, right? Yeah. It becomes like the kindness I offer to children, right? And to elders. And then the third zone, it's called the Crystal Palace, which I think is very exciting. Where it's located is like if you were to go from your inner ear in and the very crown of your head down, like it's the sensory motor cortex. You know what it is? It's the Eye of Ra. If you ever see the thing where they turn the brain into the Egypt thing, that's where we're smiling towards. We just don't call it that in Taoism. Good, feels like an awakening. Thank you for offering that. And so smiling like to the center of your brain. My eyes almost always closed. It can be the pineal gland, sure. What the space is this is the structure. This is what's called the third ventricle. It is the structure in our brain that creates and distributes cerebral spinal fluid, and yes, it smiles back. Guess what else smiles back? I'm going to tell you the secret. The ninth dimension smiles back in the form of Ming Po, who's the goddess of oblivion, who serves the tea of forgetfulness to souls before they incarnate. She lives in our umbilical cord. So when we do the inner smile, and so we're smiling to here, there's a smile that happens in the brain. There's always a third, okay? We don't always know what it is. I was given the secret. The third is our fucking umbilical cord and the veins in the artery in the umbilical cord. Become a smile. Isn't that cool? Norman, you don't live in the instruments. So the rule of this yoga is when you attain mastery, or what some people would call enlightenment in the system, you are obligated to give access to it. And I had a very long conversation over many, many years with my dead Lama friend, Lama Turchen Rinpoche, real Lama from Tibet, and he agrees. Disclose the secrets. Hey, Norman, do not eat that. Because they were secrets when they had to be, but now if they stay secrets, you'd have to learn Chinese cosmology. Sir. He wants to do the OUTS ID, I'm not bringing him. So yeah. So 8, the infinity sign, is represented in the mechanical aspects of Taoist cosmology through the Bagua. Which is the map of Feng Shui. But that map is also reflected, it's reflected in 9 dimensions, but it has to be reflected 3 ways in order for it to have anything to do with our body. So the basic rule of thumb is, if it's to the body specifically, at a minimum, it is one thing 3 ways. And by one thing 3 ways, I mean length, width, and height. Like from a literal perspective, being able to build dimension, we are 3-dimensional creatures. We live in 3 dimensions. So an organ, as an example, has a practical thing, like a literal, it's an organ. It'll have it turns into 3-body problems. It'll have an alchemical factor. I do see your question. It'll be an alchemical factor. So like the heart is an actual organ and represented by fire as an element. And then there's a third thing. There's always a third thing. The third thing in our organs are called Shen, S-H-E-N. They're not in all of our organs though. So you kind of have to know the maps. But the third thing in yin and yang is the holographic. It's the corona. So the yin and the yang sign, that squiggle that has the white and the black with the dots, the squiggle in between those, that's Occam's razor. That's the perception of the separation. It's also a string. And then the dots, boom, boom, show the opposite poles, but they're also particles. So the flat two-dimensional symbol of the yin and the yang represents a multi-dimensional sphere of polarity, and there's a little black hole in the middle. This I got from Amazon, I think. I love the color, and it's muslin. It's like a grown-up muslin. Makes me feel really good. Also, it's hide. I don't know why I want to hide my belly from you today, but my belly wants to be hidden. I need something to sit on. Ah, there we go. Much better. Have you ever seen string art? Absolutely, there's a difference in perspective. You've always drawn this shape in any, yeah, of course there's a difference in perspective. That shape is a cone, it's a spiral, it is a sphere, it's a circle, it's a dot, yeah. Because like, think about it. Sir, are you hungry? Because I will do that. Let me get him a little bit of crunchy crunch, because he's having a meltdown and he's stomping his foot. Yes, it's cylindrical. Uh-huh. Oh my God, he just stomped his foot at me. I am dying. Norman. You are amazing. Just incredible. I'm very proud of you for learning how to communicate like a human. And also for telling me you can't get to your water. There. Okay? Can I go pee-pee? Friends, I'll be back in a moment. I'm going to take advantage of being up. All just like a little baby Moses, and I found you. I'm not doing that right now, sir. Okay, wait, I need liquid. Sir. I don't even know if anybody's still hanging out online, because you just distracted me. All right, coming back into the circle. Hello. I found my little thing. People would give you the hardest time. No, he wants to go outside. He wants to see his boyfriend, Winston. Hi, buddy. They think that you're starving. He's very dramatic. You are. He's my little orca. He's yin and yang, okay? I cannot take the white away from the black and still have a Norman. I cannot. No, so yin and yang, the black and the white, as a symbol, it's like a push pin. It's just noting the location. As a concept, it's a dipole magnet. Easiest way to contemplate it. I know we turn into all the like masculine and feminine, but just like as an existence thing, It's whatever makes the North Pole the North Pole, the South Pole the South Pole, and water float when it freezes. So our North Pole alchemically is frozen yin, and our South Pole is frozen yang. Alchemically, this is why the poles are melting the way they are, top down, bottom up. Fascinating. Sir, go be elsewhere. Okay? Boop. Thank you. So the healing smile, the inner smile, just as a way to send kindness and compassion. The psychologists call it positive regard. To just have positive regard. It is an amazing way when I'm not also like pissed off or angry about a situation, which I do get. Sadly, quite a bit. Working on it. There's a lot to be upset about, though, I have to say, these days. I don't know about you. But the positive regard, I find it, at a minimum, I can get like kind of neutral. And then also, if you need like a mantra, thank you. Thank you. It was the top of the pile. I appreciate it. But a mantra is just, I'm breathing. Oh, do you know what's a really good one though? It comes from India. So hum. You think so on the inhale and hum on the exhale. Hum. It means I am that. I am. Because I want to learn how to be an astrologer in this. It's very challenging to do this. Oh, yay. Thank you. I'm not sure what that was, but I'm so happy. The inner child, cosmic ball sack of love. Most important thing. That may or may not have been what I was saying, Dr. Love. But that our inner child it's envisioned in the medicinal system, in the actual medicine, as residing on a bridge made of stars and fishing with the Big Dipper. I'm like, I'll take that any day for an inner child. The Phantom Toll Booth, I mean, immediately I have every Carl Sagan dream I've ever had. All of the coolest everything, and I'm in touch with my pericardium, which no other doctor is on the planet right now. Look at that little bunny. That's the wood rabbit. Thank you for the gift, whatever that was. Do you see how sweet that is? So these are lovely. This is not mine. These are by a woman from China. Fire ox. So these 5 elements are earth, water, metal, fire, and wood. And there are 12 animals of the zodiac. So you actually get a total of 60 possibilities, not just 12. That makes me so happy because I don't know about you. I don't match what the people tell me. I do match the Gemini, double Gemini, Mercury on the ascendant, twin brother. But I don't know enough about that. This has been the card. This is the one, friends. This is the card. Earth cauldron, earth horse. Stirring the cauldron. This cauldron, I had mentioned it earlier today, and I think I've mentioned it in other videos. It's just like a witch's cauldron, okay? But it's not like you have a fire under it all the time. It's space in the body that we can do things alchemically with, that you just imagine you have a space. So that inner smile, that healing smile, when you send it to your belly, your cauldron's receiving it. That is not your tum-tum, by the way. Tum-tum is active, it's working for us. This is just like a nice space. It's almost as though you could also contemplate it like those trip toys. That are the balls that go like expand and contract, and they look like a Buckminster Fuller dome. This can also expand and contract. So this cauldron is the seat of Soma, not the seat of self, the seat of Soma. It's under the belt, it's under the belly button, back by our spine. It is, we are given it. Are you alive? Are you breathing? Do you exist? Excellent. You have passed the test. This yoga, all these like magical, mystical, oh my goodness, you could never be, they are so out there. But anybody could do it. You know why? Because it's all bullshit. It's bullshit in our favor. I have the sages in me. I live with them. I've been with this for 40 years. It is, sir, I'm excited about something. You're going to have to see them later. He's in love with my next door neighbor, the girl now, too. Like, oh my gosh, he wants to move in with her. Go away. I love you. I don't remember what I was saying. It was about the alchemy, though. But I'm also surrounded by sounds. Organic movement, we have all done. Yeah. So the enlightenment factor, or this whole concept of enlightenment, in Taoism, which is where I'm coming from, the enlightenment is clarity. It's perceiving in a new way that is obvious and clear enough that you can stay with parts of it for a little bit, and then you get a little bit more, you see a little bit more. But the really amazing thing about it is it's in whatever direction works for you. Not necessarily in the direction that works for Time magazine or, the Nobel Prizes. It can be truly, truly as simple and direct as, do I have her art? I don't think I have it right here. I had a client who was born with fetal alcohol syndrome and she ate glass. Lots going on the inside. She was not doing elixir magic and like refining things. We were just hanging out and she was doing stuff with her body. And then when she had to do things like have surgery or something, she had tools to bring with her so that she could get through that with less suffering. That is a success, truly. And it doesn't have to happen with, it doesn't have to. I'm not saying that it can't, But this is not write it down, figure out what your cognitive distortions are, and like lose a debate with your therapist, which is all DBT is. Cognitive distortion and cognitive therapy is rebranded logical fallacies. They're useful, but they're not necessarily going to help this. They're going to help this see something. But what's going to come up to assist your body when shit hits the fan is all that boring crap that we're practicing, or just like in training into the mind, into the brain, in training. And then it's like muscle memory. Yeah. So like these sounds in the smile, sound for the kidney as an example, is chew. 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 Oh, you do sound for the kidney, bringing in calm, letting go of shock. Chew. I think we're also, well, I just yawned at you. There's also, oh, here we go. So good though. How do I want to say this? I was going to say something about attachments, but I don't want to. My ability to misplace a tool that I'm sitting next to is amazing. Is it weird that it's 6 o'clock and I go to bed? Even though I stayed in bed till like 9? I'm going to say it. Attachment wounds are one of the worst things we have ever been introduced to. The concept of an attachment style based on the failings of adults is fucked up for this thing in here. John Bowlby is the psychologist who made it all happen. He was looking at little white boys after World War II, because remember, we had the ladies working, and then the boys came back, and we needed a way to get the ladies to stop working, so we made them hysterical. We did not have the diagnostic statistical manual until after the war. But truly, I have trauma as a kid, absolutely. And much of it is associated with being mistreated by adults. Personally, for me, I have found when people try to say, well, you're this and you're that, my response is, first of all, F you. And secondly, I cannot do something today about a wound that occurred when I was in kindergarten, beyond recognizing that a wound exists and being kind towards it. And maybe something starts to shift. But I see these videos. Oh, if your boyfriend's an anxious avoidant and you're a this and you're a that and la la la. That's no different rhetorically than calling people names. It's bullying. Or at least that's how it sounds when I listen to it. It may not be that way in your therapy room, but certainly on social with these coaches. Oh, I help you with your attachment style. Hello. I don't even have fashion sense. You're going to tell me I have a style of attachment? Am I codependent? Am I like all these labels become the pathway. They become the narrative. They become the guideline. And sometimes they're correct and great and we really need them. And sometimes they're laid on us. But other times they become also a problem. Like sometimes you need to be able to do things without the words just to see what happens, just to see where you end up. And if there's a place and a space to do that, I believe in a way that's somehow structured or oriented and organized, bigger than whoever's giving it to me, and I'm speaking about practices and lineage with this, then I feel like, okay, then I can maybe like start to relax a little bit and see and check in. But then if somebody says back to me, oh, you're just being anxious, avoidant, attachment, blah, 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 I'm like, oh, look at you. You have a whole little list that you're guarding me. You're being Santa Claus. That's what that is. That's what that is. That's what our doctors are doing to us. And now our coaches are doing it to us too. Add human design onto it, and then they turn into your brainwasher, your programmer. Let's just like relax that a little bit. Okay? So the thing that has beyond it feels like forced slowness, a lot of this stuff that comes from Taoism, fast processor, is also a kind of trust, faith, or belief, however you want to understand it, that it actually is doing what it's supposed to be doing. I was on a consulting call recently with a woman who's using the Sounds True protocol in her therapy practice. This is one of Stephen Porges' deals, or Peter Levine, I can't remember which one. But it's used for trauma. It's very subtle. And she's like, these people are so, like, they're just free, they want it to happen faster, and it's not happening fast, because it's presented as the solution. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's because it has to be presented as a solution, but also it's a process. And like, what are you telling these people? Do they come to you and you say, oh, I do Sounds True protocol, come onto my table, do 612, and then you're going to feel all different? People are looking to feel different and not contemplating and like, well, what's the experience that I'm having? And I don't think that's this person's style. I truly think that's like how the protocol is brought forward. Label me, negate me. It bothers me because it's being attached to regulatory language. If your kid has an anxious attachment style and they're not regulated, this is what you do. That is control. I'm talking about the rhetoric, by the way. I'm not talking about the humans. I'm just talking about the stories that we're hearing. I think it's also very strange that all these trauma therapies have to add the body to it now. Somatic internal family systems. Somatic polyvagal theory. Where the fuck has the soma been, friends? Hello? And most of what we get from trauma rhetoric is coming through psychiatry, not through neuroscience. Those are two different fields. I did not realize that until recently because I'm dumb in that way. The neuroscience that I pay attention to apparently is not the neuroscience that the people who tell me they're neuroscience and psychiatry. Neuroscience and psychiatry is behavior modification and behavior control. That's where it's coming from. So it's all based on disciplines that are rooted in identifying and then altering the behavior of populations of humans. That does not sound like liberation to me. But please give me all the medications. I need them. Big stretch. Uh-oh. Another yawn. Be warned. Relaxation might occur. I can feel it happening. I can feel it. So a resonant experience is one that you don't feel bad in, essentially, right? And that's going to look different for all of us. And really obvious example is food preferences and spice preferences. Okay? If your friend likes something super, super spicy and you don't like it as spicy, that does not make one of you have a wrong or a disordered palate. It means one of you likes spicier food. And I'm very sorry to say this to all the people that are grading us on our behavior all the time. Some of us are Tiggers. Some of us do bounce off the walls a little bit. Some of us are never going to be sitting still. Some of us shouldn't because of our tissues. And this, our schools who knows what's going to happen in 25 in the US, but they're just like our emergency medicine is based on war, schools are based on factories. Everybody do sit forward, boom, boom, boom. It's not good or bad. Ugh. Excuse me. But it's also not inherent to human to sit still for that many hours, really focusing. ADHD coming from a migration, patterns of migration of birds, that would be really cool. Is that what you mean? Or ADHD, oh, I like that. There have been more identifications of genetic factors in autism. A gene that motivated people to move places, interesting. It's definitely I was just reading about all the different rhythms that our body is in that biology and different sciences contemplate. And medical model, Western medicine, which is also, by the way, all of medicine, contemplates the circadian rhythm, the 24, oh good, I'm so glad you found that, the 24-hour day, which I am not on, I don't know about you, there's a circa lunar cycle, which is 29 and a half days. There's an annual cycle. There are cycles in our body that are contemplated as less than an hour, as an hour to 12. And they all have their own individual names. But the one that we're measured against is the circadian clock, the clock of the day. And so am I having a problem with sleep, or is my circadian rhythm not a 24-hour rhythm? I mean, that is like a rhetorical question. I have no idea. But there are always like more. Darwin wasn't the only one, for one thing, categorizing species. He wasn't. He's the one that like sold the most books or whatever. Chuck, the circadian rhythm. I think the lunar patterns, this is very much in tune also with the inner alchemy, is to connect more towards the lunar experience, because Taoist inner alchemy, the alchemy of the body that does not involve any kind of like intervention, is based on the fluid in our spine. It's not based on like the muscles or anything like that. And the lunar patterns are guiding other aspects of the planet, right? You need, if you want to navigate, I don't know how the sea navigation during the day happens, but I understand how it happens at night. There's a whole other, like, we are so unfortunate in, we cannot perceive the night sky as it is unless we're like looking at a telescope of another sky, because there's so much light pollution since the Industrial Revolution. So does any human on the planet even have a lunar experience? I'm in the time of year where it's going to be howling winds constantly, and the garbage people start coming at 3:30 in the morning because of plow schedules and shit. 3:30 every day. I was just complaining, I apologize. But lunar is also a more like an inner kind of a thing. The tides can change. Spinal fluid, absolutely. There's a guy in New York who I really wish I could remember his name so I can reach out to him, who's a cardiologist who is looking at cerebral spinal fluid and consciousness. And he's contemplating cerebral spinal fluid as one of the locations of I am. Only a boy would look for a location for consciousness, but that aside, I think it's pretty interesting that he's looking at that. And this resonant experience is also like, it's the subtext, it's the under the sea part as well, in that it's more hidden, it's more nuanced, it's more emergent. It's not going to like shine a light onto a thing. You're going to notice a glisten. The lunar, like tuning to darkness in particular, is tuning to bioluminescence, right? The algae and everything that like light up the night. And those deep sea fish, which if I was a fish, I would be an anglerfish. I would so totally be an anglerfish. And I just think it's really unfortunate that we have this perception that darkness is somehow bad or part of the shadow, which is, shadows don't exist. They're just atmosphere. That was a lovely lecture I just gave you. I apologize. I'm a little bit like this from the sound. So I'm finding, and this is is what I'm bringing forward, and why you should go download the free things. And if you have $20, do that. And if you have more than that, hire me. But also, like, because we just need more tools, right? Like, if you can add on to your CBT or your DBT when you're doing your lists and looking at, what is this thing that's happening? How am I perceiving it? Is it accurate? Is it, because those are really useful. That's all here. Then you add sense of bum, and now you're on a surface. And you can look at what you've written and go, oh, okay, now I can contemplate that. You just have a way of being in a place of discernment with it. And also, for a lot of us, in a place, especially if we hold the power, in a place where we're not so imposing onto other experiences. This is a minor scale, so it's not like... I can feel just having these bowls out for a bit. I'm gonna need to take care of this, though. I have to go do a squeeze. I have these lovely shorts I put on. They make me look like Little Lord Fauntleroy. And it's like a Napoleon jacket. And it gives me a massage for like an hour. And it helps my lymph not just live in my armpit, which is where my lymph lives. Because I had 21 lymph nodes removed. And yes, that's a lot. I'm vascular. Vascular. Let me do a couple things. I'm not leaving you. I'm just, I know that I'm altered enough from playing that I don't want to, as you might imagine, these are pretty expensive. Oh, check it out. I have these sitting on my art. These bowls, that's funny. All right. Moving these in. I'm so glad that my kitty cats do not try to like live in my bowls and stuff. That they're very oh my goodness me. Do you want to see me and my twin brother? And I'm playing my very first violin. Look how little I was. Look, that's me. This is like 1970. That's me and my brother. and I'm holding the violin. First time I ever played the violin. Who makes a violin that small? That's my dad. That's Danny. And my mother took the picture, and that's like the perfect family picture is the one that my mother is not in. But look at my brother. He was so cute. Oh my goodness. It's the only one I have of him, but I used to love taking the pots and pans out of the cabinet and playing in the cabinet. My parents were piano teachers and musicians, and I would do that while my mother was teaching, and she had a problem with that. I don't know why. She found it disruptive. I can't imagine. It's like 50 feet away from where her studio was. Oh, Gen X. Generation X. Ooh, here we go. Metal Dragon. This is a nice way to end. That dragon has 5 toes. Can you see it has 5 toes? It has a thumb and 4 fingers. There are 5 5-toed dragons. They're probably all in here. Each of them goes with an imperial immortal. I can't remember which one the metal dragon is, but when it becomes animals, it becomes the white tigress, who like is in control of all the sexy fun time. And the metal dragon is a very powerful ally in our experience of protection and appropriate deflection. So not like fighting, but just like people, we are not the droids you're looking for. That's very much what the metal dragon does. Let's hope that, I don't know what I want to, I do it. Oh, hold on. Oh, I forgot I had a body and had my 55-year-old knees bent for a long time. For some reason, 55 feels significant today. I don't know why. Here we go. Okay. Ah, very good. So please find me on the other places. I am definitely needing and wanting to do more targeted YouTube content, especially about our fascia and nervous system resonance. I've been writing about it on Substack as well. My Substack is free. I'm just using that for the blogging, so do that. Go get the free stuff. Sunday at noon, come hang out on Zoom. That's in the place as well. I will be back here later. I'm going to go eat some tacos. Some chickpea tacos. Very exciting tacos that I made yesterday. Oh, that sounded good. Ooh, I don't know what the first gift is.
Oh, that's a dolphin. Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet.
Okay. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.